addresses your heart and your outward appearance. He goes in verse 3, do not let your adornment be merely outward, arranging the hair, wearing gold, and putting on fine apparel. Rather, let it be the hidden person of the heart, with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. You know, don't make your priority merely the way you look outwardly, your physical appearance. That's what he's saying there, verse 3. Don't let your adornment be merely or primarily outward. And I like the word merely because it doesn't exclude looking nice and looking fashionable and being a lady, being a woman. Does it? Like J. Vernon McGee said, if the barn needs paint, paint it. It doesn't preclude wearing nice clothes. It doesn't preclude wearing gold or fixing your hair up. What it's saying is, don't focus all of your attention primarily on the way you look outwardly, the way you look physically. And that's what a lot of the women in the first century were doing. They dressed up and dyed their hair and wore wigs and everything else I read this week in order to attract attention to themselves. And that's what he's saying here. Don't dress, don't walk, don't move, don't behave in public so as to draw attention to yourself. And I think of some of the characters on TBN. You can fill in the blanks. I mean, just read it. Arranging the hair, wearing of gold, putting on fine apparel. Now, so it's saying be moderate. You know? Don't come sashaying into the congregation, you know, wearing some immodest clothing or this big, you know, where everybody says, man, who is that? Now, you know, I would encourage you to avoid the extremes here. Neither is he saying, look dowdy. Don't wear any makeup. If you choose not to wear makeup, that's fine. But I'm saying that's not what Peter is saying. He's not saying don't wear any makeup, don't fix up your hair, don't take a bath. Don't wear nice clothes. Just, you know, get all your clothes at the secondhand store. And nothing at the secondhand store. Most of what I have is from the Salvation Army and stuff. I love it. But so there's nothing wrong with it. But we should, you know, by virtue of the fact that we're Christians and witnesses in the world, we ought to look clean. We ought to look neat, right? We shouldn't look like a bunch of slobs. And the same goes with the women. What it's saying here is if you're married, even to an ungodly husband, don't go walking around trying to attract other men. You be a one-man woman. And dress appropriately. Dress modestly. Do not let your adornment be merely outward, arranging the hair, wearing gold, putting on fine apparel. Rather, let it be the hidden person of the heart. What is it? Your adornment. What appeals to your husband and others about you. Let it be the hidden person of the heart, not your outward appearance. When people see you, what's the first thing they see as they get to know you? Do they see what a wonderful woman of God you are, or man for that matter, or do they see what a gorgeous chick you are? That's what he's saying. They ought to see the former, not the latter. They ought to see what a God. So you women, wives, you should desire that your heart, your hidden heart, that's joined together with God, that's endeavoring to follow Him in obedience and be all that you can be, is what people see when they look at your life. Not merely the outward appearance. with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit. Incorruptible beauty. The heart, it's immortal. It's undecaying beauty. And all of us know the reality that all these other things are passing away. That our outward beauty, our physical beauty is decaying. Just look at me. And so you can, I don't care how much paint you put on it. I don't care how beautiful. I mean, I think of people that are on TV that, look like, I mean, they got to be 90 years old, 85 years old. And their faces are stretched across the room. And they're trying to look like they're, 25 again. Hey, it's decaying. It's passing away. Good luck. It ain't going to work. I tried dyeing my hair. That didn't work either. I just looked like an old man that dyed his hair. But all of these outward things, all the physical attributes are passing away. The muscles are sagging. So let your heart be what you focus on. And so with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, somebody who's easy to get along with, the beauty of the heart in that relationship with your husband. Not contrary, not contentious, but loving and putting on the display of the character and nature of Jesus. And notice this, which is very precious in the sight of God. A gentle and quiet spirit. That doesn't mean you don't say anything. Although that may be what your husband's wish it said. It just means to have that kind of an attitude that I'm not gonna wrestle him to the ground every day because he's not a Christian or because he's not doing what I think he ought to do. I'm gonna let him lead. I'm gonna trust God to work through him to take care of me. And you can be praying behind the scenes, Lord, zap him, get him, And you can even anoint him with oil in his sleep. But look at this. Very precious, highly valued, of great price in the sight of the Lord God when you do that. Why would you want to do anything else? It's a hard thing when you're living with somebody who's constantly messing up, not following the Lord. But the mandate is no less there. Verse 5, a little example, and I'll run through this. For in this manner, in former times, the holy women who trusted in God also adorned themselves. Talking about the Old Testament women. Look at the history. Being submissive to their own husbands. They realized that God had appointed them as leaders and as the authority in the home, and they submitted to that. Verse 6, as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. You hear that, honey? Huh? Yes, Lord. I like it. She called him Lord because she saw that God had appointed him to manage the home and to lead her and guide her in spiritual things and to guide the family. Now, did Abraham always do what was right? No. In fact, he told her, he said, hey, when we get into the land, make sure you tell these guys that you're my sister because you're beautiful and they'll take you. So she did it. As Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters you are, if you do good. See, doing good doesn't mean subverting your husband. Doing good doesn't mean you're constantly railing on him for the things he does wrong. Although sometimes you need to do that. As I said, you don't need to be a doormat. You don't need to keep your mouth shut of things. You need to give your opinion as that staff officer that's sitting there around the table. If he'll allow you to do that if he's unsaved. Hopefully he will. And then release it to the Lord if he says, But you need to do good to your husband. Do good to those who hate you and do all manner of evil against you. And I'm not saying your husband's doing that to you. But if that's the standard, then that applies to your husband too, right? And vice versa. And so it says, calling him Lord, whose daughters you are, you're like Sarah, you're like these women of old, if you do good. If you yield yourself in obedience to God and your husband, not grudgingly, willingly, and are not afraid with any terror. Now, what does that mean? In other words, I'm not afraid that God is unable to take care of me through this guy. I don't need to worry about my own life. It means being unafraid and free from anxiety about what's going to happen to me. I don't need to panic because he, made this boneheaded decision. I need to trust God to work in and through his life to protect me and to take care of me and my children, even when my husband is not obeying the word and doesn't always treat me as he should and living a godless life.